Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be guiding you through how to analyze an ELISpot experiment using our Phoretix Colony Counter software. Now, Phoretix Colony Counter, as the name suggests, was initially devised as a colony counting piece of software, but it also does spot counting and it will do spot intensity and things like that. So it can still be applied to ELISpot experiments. Now, by using Phoretix Colony Counter, you don't need a specialized ELISpot reader, of which there are a couple automated solutions on the market. You can use a normal gel dock device, a scanner, even your phone camera if none of those options are available. So by using our software, you don't need any specialized equipment, just need a way of taking a high quality image of kind of your wells, bring it into the software, and I'll show you through the course of this video how we can get a spot number and start getting intensity of spots. Now, ELISpot, if you're not familiar, but I'm guessing you are if you clicked on this video, is an assay method for detecting specific proteins released from cells. Typically it's cytokines, but it can be just any other specific protein that you've obviously got an antibody for. So yeah, I'll run through how we can handle that within Phoretix Colony Counter, and you can feel free to check out a link in the description to get a free trial yourself, or drop any comments about features that you'd like to see within the software specifically for this application if this is something that you're doing. So I brought in here a 6-well experiment, but equally you could image a 96-well plate or even a 384-well plate. This is the image that I brought in. Now, it's not the world's highest quality image, but it should be good enough to at least show you the features that you would use on your own images. So we see here, and if you've seen any of the other Phoretix image analysis software videos, you'll know what the setup is. So from here is where we control like contrast and the display, and you can see how as I change these bits, the visibility of the image changes. It's worth noting that no matter what settings you apply here, the visualization doesn't change the results. So we're always taking the results from the raw, ideally TIFF image. This is purely a visual aid for the operator to be able to define areas of interest, define specific spots and things like that. So it's visibility for you. We've got the option to apply zoom, and we have controls for that. So we have, if you hold shift and scroll your mouse wheel, you can do zoom in and zoom out. And then if you hold shift and left click, you can pan around, and then you can fit the image back to the kind of default view as well. And this section here, this 3D section, is designed both to offer nice visuals for papers, publications, things like that, which we can export directly from the software, or to allow you to make sure the image is being interpreted correctly, so you've got peaks instead of troughs where your spots are. So the next step in the workflow is obviously to run our detection. You can see here that I've defined one of my wells and one of my areas of detection already. So once I've defined one area, if using kind of a standardized well, you can then go on to define the others, and you can copy and paste these. So if they're all of the same size, you can just click on here, go on duplicate sample, and then you'll grab sample 2. You'll put it over your sample 2 well. I'm just left clicking and dragging these, and I can edit the size of these shapes just by using the anchors on the side, and I've just scaled them up, scaled them down, things like that. If I wanted to add a new kind of, analysis area, if I just left click using my ellipse tool, if I just left click and start building that up as well, you can see that these areas are called sample 1, sample 2, sample 3. You can rename them within this box, and each of them can have a different sensitivity for detection. So we've got a number of different sensitivity tools for each different section here, but you can just, if you just use duplicate sample, it will use the same settings from each well. So what you might want to do is get one well perfect for its detection settings, and then just duplicate everywhere else. Or you might value having different detection settings for different wells. It depends on your experimental setup, and if you've got very few spots and you start going towards a really high concentration of spots, you might find that you need different detection settings there. It's completely on you, the operator, and how your experiment was designed to fine-tune these settings for your application and know that if you want to keep them the same or move them, and if that works within your SOP. So I'm going to come through and I'm just going to click detect here to do an initial detection and see what kind of results that gives me. So you can see immediately, as soon as I click detect, we've applied these settings across all 3 of our samples. sample 1, sample 2, and sample 3. We can change the color of their outlines by clicking on these buttons here, and we can display them here. So within my table, you can see we start to get immediately results. So we've got width, height, intensity of all of the different spots that we've got within our assay here. But what we can also do as well is go for spot count. So with the settings that I've applied, you can see sample 1 has 298 detected spots, sample 2 has 268, and then sample 3 has 394. Now, I'm not going to extensively run through the optimization of the sensitivity tools on this particular video, because I'm not sure it would be particularly interesting to watch. But what you can do is just click on them and move your mouse left and right, and then hit detect and see how that changes your detection. So I changed the settings there, you can change the operator size. This is obviously going to have to be fine-tuned for your own experiment. See, we've changed the operator size and we've kind of missed some spots at the beginning there. The splitting section, the auto splitting tool, is basically when you've got spots that are very close together. When do we split them? When do we not? This is a good example here. But if the automatic detection isn't working too well for you, you can always override each different spot manually. And again, I will stress there are a lot of factors that we can change to really fine-tune the sensitivity of this detection. I'm just not going to do that now on this demo because it's not very interesting for the viewer to watch. So don't take this as kind of the best that we can do. If I come down to the edit section, I can zoom in, and those joined up spots that I saw before, what I can do is I can come across and split them. So you can see here it just lagged a little bit. I've got a lot of tabs open in the background. We can start splitting spots manually. We can we can draw spots. So if I just delete some spots here, just selecting them and clicking on delete there, pressing delete on my keyboard there, I can draw new spots. Kind of drag them to where they need to be. I can change the radius of the spot that I'm going to be putting this on, and I can generate an auto detection. So I can click on a spot and have an auto detection function run for me. And if I click on another spot, it will automatically accept it. And I can change the tolerance level of this automatic detection again to wrap around my spot. And you'll see that you can combine the automatic spot detection and the manual spot detection if you so wish. So it's not one or the other. You can say use the automatic detection to get you 80-90% of the way and fill in the rest manually. We support both modes, together. And that's basically it. So for these measurements, if you're particularly interested in spot measurements, we can also perform a background correction. So we have image rectangle mode non-spot, which means the mathematical mode of the non-spot area within your area of interest. So everything that is not a spot, we take the mode pixel value of that and set it as the background. Surface minimum takes 1 pixel outside of the radius of the spot and analyzes all of those and selects the lowest value outside your spot to set as the background. And then edge average does the same calculation, but instead of taking the lowest value, it averages all of the pixel intensities around your spot, sets that as the background. That's usually the most accurate method in most images. Certainly in this one it would be, because we've got a lot of white space around our spots. We can change what measurements we display. So we are taking all of these different measurements, X, Y coordinates, distance unit, if you want to include that. Background level, we can take all of those measurements straight away using our automatic detection. And from here, we can export it to a CSV, or we can copy it to our clipboard and paste it in something else. So MATLAB, GraphPad, something like that, whatever you want to do further analysis on. Again, you can copy it to your clipboard and put it in Excel rather than export it to a CSV. And from there as well, we can also export a PDF report, which contains all this information and the images. And we can export these images so we can show, on our report, what were the areas that we detected, what were the sensitivity settings that we used, and have that as a more formalized report. We can export the presentation image to include within papers or posters, something like that, to show users these are the settings I used. This is the mask that was created, and these are where, what I've counted as spots. And of course, we can offer this software in a 21 CFR and GMP compliant solution, as well as supporting Linux, Mac, and Windows operating systems. So that's a quick drive-by demo of kind of how you would go through performing an ELISpot analysis within the Phoretix Colony Counter software. I've not gone into a huge amount of depth here. I wanted to keep the video quite short and accessible. But you can see that within a matter of, I don't know how long this video is going to be, maybe 7 minutes, we're able to start building up quite accurate spot number counts for our experiments, for our ELISpot experiments, making the analysis portion of the experiment very quick, very automated, and very reproducible. If you've got lots of operators, you define a specific workflow, specific imager, specific sensitivity for spot detection, you can really kind of normalize this procedure if you're doing a lot of these and try and automate it as much as possible. Another thing to note is, of course, it being a Phoretix piece of software, we can template all of this and have it automatically applied as a template. So again, in the scenario I described, where you've got a very standardized workflow, sensitivity settings, things like that, you can automate all of that, perform all of that once, save it as a template, and just load the same template every single time and get really reproducible results for your experiments, for your ELISpot experiments, and again, in a 21 CFR GMP compliant manner, if your lab requires that level of compliance. As ever, thanks for watching. And if you'd be interested in trying out Phoretix Colony Counter on your own ELISpot experiments, please feel free to check out the link in the description below. You can get a free trial copy of the software, and you can use your own images within that, so you can test it out exactly as you would in your lab. The only limitation on it is length, is duration. So it's a 7-day free trial, but you can try it as many times as you want with as many images as you want. We don't lock it down there. But yeah, any comments, any feedback, anything you'd like to see within the software, please let me know in the comments below.